Hey, it's Rob Jackson from Fandroid.com, and this is our review of the Samsung Droid Charge for Verizon Wireless. The Charge has a 4.3-inch screen with 480 by 800 pixel resolution. It uses Samsung's new Super AMOLED Plus technology, and as you can see, the screen's super bright. Below the screen, you can see the typical menu, home, back, and search keys, and these are hardware buttons. You've also got a microphone at the bottom here, and at the top, which helps for noise cancellation. On the right side of the phone, we've got the power button and HDMI out. You can just see it has that little door on it. On the top of the phone, there's the 3.5mm headset jack. On the left, we've got the volume rocker and the micro USB port. On the back of the phone, you've got the speaker, and then the With Google logo, and at the top this 8-megapixel camera with single LED flash and the 4G LTE logo. There's also a camera on the front right up here, which is a 1.3 megapixel camera. You'll notice some other circles in the top right, which are hard to see with the lighting, but those are light sensors. You remove the battery just here on the bottom. You can see there's a little slot for your finger, and it comes right off. The Charge has a 1600 milliamp battery, and you can see here's the micro SD card, which is up to 32 gigabytes, and this is the 4G LTE slot SIM card, and you need this to access the 4G network. The Charge is powered by a 1 GHz Hummingbird processor by Qualcomm, and it's got 512 megabytes of both RAM and ROM, and 2 gigabytes of internal memory. There are a few really impressive things about the Droid Charge, the screen being one of them. This Super AMOLED Plus screen is really bright and beautiful. In direct sunlight too, it's a lot easier to look at the screen. Sometimes you'll be squinting, tilting your phone in different directions, but with the Super AMOLED Plus screen, it does a really good job in sunlight. But most of all, just using the phone from a day-to-day basis, multimedia and stuff, the Super AMOLED Plus is definitely one of, if not the best screen I've seen on a mobile device. Another highlight of this phone is the 4G LTE connectivity on Verizon Wireless. This is only the second phone, the HTC Thunderbolt was first, to have 4G connectivity. So if you're doing a lot of multimedia stuff, or even really for downloading games and apps from Android Market, it's really fast. And keep in mind, you've got to be in a 4G capable city in order to enjoy those benefits. I also love the camera on the Droid Charge, actually both the rear 8-megapixel camera and the 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera, but we'll get into that in our camera review. The Droid Charge has a really interesting look to it. It's got this curved top, and then it's got a curved bottom too, but it's more angular and comes to a point. And it kind of reminds me of the Dodge Charger or the Transformer logo, so for me it's kind of a masculine look. On the back, you've also got this shield-shaped look, where it's the little bit of a curved top, but again, the angular bottom. Look at the Transformer logo. I'm telling you, it looks very similar to it. And again, at the bottom of the phone, you've got more curves, but angled kind of curves that give it a sleek but masculine look. I really like it. So the design overall of the Droid Charge I like. One thing you're sure to hear complaints about on the Droid Charge is the plasticky feel. And I agree. I mean, it is very plasticky. On the other hand, there are some people who really value thin phones and light phones, and partially due to this plastic nature, it is less than half an inch thick. It's only 0.46 inches thick, and it's just over 5 ounces heavy. So you might not like plasticky feel, but if you like light and thin, this plastic definitely helps. I was disappointed that the Charge doesn't have an LED status notification light, so nowhere up here when you get emails or text messages will it have a visual blinking green light or whatever you're used to, you know, a blinking red light indicating your battery's dead or whatnot. That is not on the Charge, so if that's important to you, take note of that. So how does the Droid Charge's 1 GHz processor do at powering the Super AMOLED screen, the 4G network on Verizon? Let's find out and take a look at the software. On the software side of things, the Droid Charge is running Samsung's custom user interface known as TouchWiz on Android 2.2. You've got 7 home screens, as you can see at the top. It shows you which home screen you're on. And you can easily change which home screen you have by clicking that little gearbox, or by pinching in and choosing to set a different screen as your home. and that will be your new home. Similar to the dedicated hardware keys, you've also got dedicated software keys, so the phone, contacts, messaging, and applications buttons will always be there no matter what screen you're on. Another handy feature is in the status bar. When you pull down, you've got options to toggle Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, mobile data, and auto rotation on and off with the quick little touch of a button. So now my Wi-Fi is on. The applications tray shows all the applications in a horizontal manner, and I'm not a really big fan of this with the square outlining the app. On the home screen you can see there is no square outline. On the applications tray there is, and it's just, there's not any consistency there. This is kind of iPhone-ish, but I think it also distracts your eye and doesn't let you easily notice apps when you're browsing through. And additionally, apps that you download from the market have a randomly colored back, so they might not look as good as the regular apps by themselves. You can now, which you couldn't used to do, if you press this button, you can either delete an app directly from your tray, which is a great feature, or you can rearrange it. So those are a couple new features on TouchWiz. So you've got some widgets you can add to the home screen too. One is Buddies now, which I do not like. Here it is on my screen now. You can cycle through quick contacts that you set here. You can set a new one and, you know, add somebody, quickly message them on your screen. I felt like it slowed it down. I feel like functionality would be more important than looking cool. It does look kind of cool. I've noticed in sometimes just switching between screens was pretty slow and laggy, which doesn't bode well for if you're running a pretty intense application. So one hesitation is definitely the speed of the phone. I don't think it's one way or the other. It's not great, it's not terrible, but it's you know, somewhere in between. A couple really cool things with the software. First of all, if you don't like the typical Android keyboard and you are a fan of Swipe, you can go to Language and Keyboard and use Swipe and set it as your default keyboard. Another really cool feature is you can take screenshots or screen captures of different screens on your phone. Well, and you can see the lag right there. But if you hold down the back button and press the home key, you can hear that screen capture, and it says screen captured, saved as image file. And now that image of just your screen is saved on your phone, and you can send it to friends. Maybe you want to show them the way your wallpaper was set up. You can actually take screen caps from within apps too, which is pretty awesome. Open the Fandroid application, hold down the back key, press home. There you go, screen capture of this. Let's go to the news. Take a screen cap of the news. Oh, yep, that works too. You could even open up an article. And you could do this in, you know, whatever application you want. I did find that some applications will respond to the back key before you let go of it, so you can't hold it down and press the home button, because as soon as you press in, it will send you back. So that feature is only available in some apps. That is the software on the Droid Charge. Let's jump into multimedia. Let's go ahead and open up YouTube, because from a multimedia standpoint, that will showcase a couple of the phone's best multimedia features, and really 2 of my 3 favorite features overall. So I've done a YouTube search for HD, and we've got this video, Asteroid Impact HD. Now notice we've got 2 out of 4, we've got 2 out of 4 bars of 4G signal. I'm kind of on the outskirts of a 4G area. So we'll press that, and it should load up the HD video. Go ahead and switch it over here, and you can see it's in high quality in the upper right. And it's just amazing quality. I mean, it also depends on the quality of the video. I mean, for YouTube, you never know. It could say high quality, but the video could be so-so. But the cool thing here too is, look how quickly that's loading. And if I move this bar into something that hasn't loaded yet, let's see how quickly it buffers. Instantaneous. So YouTube really helps highlight the speed of the 4G LTE network and why it's so powerful, helpful, and helps you get more out of your multimedia experience. And also this big 4.3-inch screen, and it's beautiful. Definitely, those are 2 of my favorite 3 features of the phone altogether. Now, it's not just streaming video from YouTube that you can enjoy. Another place where you get great multimedia value is with games. So let's go ahead and open up a couple games we downloaded, Angry Birds and Raging Thunder. Now pretty much everybody knows Angry Birds, and this is typical Angry Birds that you'll see, but again, just a bright, vivid, enjoyable experience. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up Raging Thunder and give you another example of gaming on the Droid Charge. Just start, single player, quick race. Nice thing, ad on the bottom. When will I die? Once I crash in this game. Ah! That's a pretty morbid, especially because there's skulls. There's skulls in the game. But as you can see, it looks great. It really does. And when the game has such vivid graphics, it just makes it more realistic, more fun to play. It's more entertaining in general. Uh-oh. So while watching videos and playing games are great on the Droid Charge, web browsing is a sore spot. Not because 4G network is slow. As you can see, I can load up Phandroid.com, and it should load pretty quickly, and it's a very graphic intensive site, but it loads the site rather quickly. That's not a problem for the most part. As you can see, it's loading those ads right there. And it's not about the screen. The screen is still great and looks beautiful, but there's really an issue with the way either the browser or something, the way this stuff's getting rendered makes web browsing really choppy when you're scrolling. You can see the delay on that, and I can try to scroll through stuff, and it's really kind of painful. Like it can't grab it. And the pinch to zoom is pretty painful too. So I got really nervous, and you know, this was a point of the phone where I said maybe I can't recommend this, but there is one thing you can do to fix this. So you go to Settings, More, and then you go, or Menu, More, Settings, and you just check off Enable JavaScript, and then choose Enable Plugins on Demand, and this will essentially shut off JavaScript. You're not going to see ads. Let's go ahead and refresh this. So you're not going to see ads this time, and so the featured article box won't load. Certain things won't load, but you can see that all of a sudden I'm instantly moving quicker. I can pinch to zoom much quicker and scroll through. So, you know, that will salvage your web browsing experience, but for things like this at the top, now I can't see my featured articles, and there are certain parts of websites that you won't be able to interact with because you're disabling JavaScript. So it is a good quick fix, and it will make web browsing, you know, back to normal and regular. But it is kind of a disappointment because otherwise the multimedia experience would be almost flawless. But again, the quick fix is Menu, More, Settings, and make sure that Enable JavaScript is unselected and Enable Plugins is either off or on demand. Rounding out the multimedia review, we've got the music player, and I've got just a few songs loaded up. This is Stay Crunchy E.T. It's a mashup actually by the Mashmaticians with Katy Perry's E.T. and Ronald Jenkins' Stay Crunchy instrumental. So let's go ahead and just play that for you. Just want to say the speaker is very loud. I like the speaker. It has a little bit of a tinny kind of sound. I want to say it may be because of the plastic backing and the rattling. There is no FM radio, so you're going to be streaming stuff or putting stuff on your SD card. But the speaker's pretty good as well. Nice and loud. So that is multimedia on the Droid Charge. My favorite feature of the Samsung Droid Charge has to be the cameras. And yes, cameras. This 8 megapixel rear camera with LED flash is amazing, as well as this 1.3 megapixel front facing camera. So take a look at the actual samples on Phandroid.com with the macro picture of the flowers, just the pictures in general were pretty stunning, and this is by far the best camera I've used on a mobile phone. Let's walk through some of the UI features of the camera. Up on the top right, we're going to toggle between video and camera mode. This actually will snap the picture. In the bottom right, you've got the gallery, which will show you the last picture you've taken. On the bottom of the phone, the volume buttons will actually act as your zoom in and zoom out. So I can press plus that to zoom out, that to zoom in, snap the picture, and it will show it to me. So great pictures all around from this phone. Check out the gallery of some of the pictures I did. But this will change between the front and the rear camera. So, well, there I am. But that takes great pictures as well. Here we can select between some options for pretty cool kind of trick shots, I would call them. Right here you can toggle between flash on, off, or auto, exposure value, and here's where you get into some of the more detailed settings. The one that I would definitely recommend using is up here on the focus mode, macro. If you're taking pictures of close objects, use macro. Look at the flower picture I took. Absolutely stunning for a mobile phone to take that great of a picture. Here's the flower picture I was telling you about. It looks great by itself, but you could zoom so far in, and the level of detail is just stunning. I mean, for a mobile phone, this is fantastic. By far, my favorite feature of the Samsung Droid Charge is the camera. Oh, by the way, the 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera took this picture, which is better quality than a lot of the regular cameras on mobile phones out there. That's my sister, so surprised and impressed at the front-facing self-pick capability. We did notice, however, that the front-facing camera acts like a mirror. So if you've got someone with text that says Orioles on it, it's not going to be very good to put on your picture frame or something, unless you go ahead and then inverse that picture in Photoshop or something. So kind of a quirk that I hope they figure out or change. But besides that, the 1.3 megapixel camera also really, really good. Love it. So we've talked a little about 4G connectivity, and you can see the speed tests we've done on the text version of our review at Phandroid.com. But one great feature is if you go into settings, wireless and network, and this is a feature you'll usually have to pay for. For now, there's a promotional period. I'm not sure if that will be around when you buy the phone, but what this does is allow you to turn your mobile hotspot on, and then your phone becomes a Wi-Fi router, essentially. So you're getting the 4G signal. Assuming you have 4G, it'll work with 3G as well. But your phone's getting a signal, and then your phone is distributing that signal out to whatever other device has Wi-Fi. So if you want to attach your Motorola Zoom to it, your tablet, your iPad, your laptop computer, another phone. So you can actually use this as a mobile hotspot, which is a great feature carriers have begun adding, and you can add up to 5 devices connecting to it at one time. So with 4G speed and able to connect multiple devices to it, really cool, and a great feature that you won't want to miss out on the Samsung Droid Charge. Two things we don't want to overlook are call quality and battery life. Of course, the 1600 milliamp battery on the Droid Charge, a little bit bigger than some other competitors, but I found it on par. So decent battery life, not great, not terrible, and it might be a little bigger, but it's also got to power that 4G network and the 4.3-inch Super AMOLED Plus display. So those kind of even out. Call quality I found to be pretty good. There's no real great way to measure it. I could hear well, the other side could hear well, and no drop calls. So call quality was good, and the speakerphone's pretty good along with that. So what's the verdict on the Droid Charge? Well, there's 3 main reasons you are going to love this phone. First of all, the camera is amazing. The 8 megapixel camera is the best camera I've used on a mobile phone to date. Not to mention, the front-facing 1.3 megapixel camera is the best front-facing camera I've used to date, and better than a lot of the regular cameras. So if you love taking pictures with your phone and you want to have quality pictures, the Droid Charge is definitely a phone for you. Second of all, the screen is amazing. 4.3-inch like many of its top-of-the-line competitors, but the Super AMOLED Plus is definitely one notch above a lot of the competitors out there. It's just brighter and more vivid and is better in sunlight. So if you love a big, beautiful screen for multimedia type stuff, Droid Charge has it. And lastly, if you're going to get a Verizon wireless phone, you're going to want to get a 4G phone, and this is 4G capable. You might have your phone for a couple years. 4G is kind of the wave of the future, and you want your phone to be able to receive that network speed for the next couple years. But trust me, downloading videos, downloading apps, doing anything streaming, you're really going to love the experience that 4G enables you. Based on those three awesome features, the camera, the 4G connectivity, and the screen, I can definitely recommend the Droid Charge, but be aware that it doesn't come without its detractions. The 1 GHz processor isn't perfectly powerful when handling TouchWiz and some of the other elements. Web browsing is a little shaky. Hopefully a software update will fix that. There's no status indicator light. The phone feels a little bit plasticky, but it's not the best all-around phone, but it does a couple important things really well with taking pictures on the front and the back and displaying multimedia videos and the speed of 4G. So definitely like the Droid Charge. We'll see how the length of its life plays out and how that 1 GHz processor works as apps grow and the demand grows for powerful processors. But for now, the camera and screen blew me away, and the Droid Charge is definitely on my recommended list.